Hi guys, welcome. And if you're new here, my name is Elaine. And today I'm going to be talking about my advice for beginner bag collectors or people who are just dipping their toes into the bag market. You might be asking, how am I qualified to give this advice? And well, I've been collecting bags pretty consistently for over 20 years now. My very first handbag was in high school and I got like a Coach wristlet. It was like one of those multicolor ones. After that, I did get a red Gucci shoulder bag, like a small one. And then I think right around college, I got a Louis Vuitton Speedy, I think it was a 30 in the Damier Azur. And then from there, I had basically phases, and I had like a Balenciaga phase, I had a Chanel phase, I had a Celine phase, a Loewe phase, and now I guess you could say I'm in my Hermes phase. So I have had quite a few bags come and go. And this is sort of my advice for anyone who's starting to look into bags, look into buying bags in 2026. My advice here is going to lean a little bit more towards the luxury handbag market or the designer handbag market, but it applies to any handbag really. So I've been collecting bags for about 20 years, over 20 years, and then I've been writing a blog about them, reviewing them for the last 10 or so, and now I talk about them on YouTube. So anyways, I do want to point out that I feel like there might be at least two main categories of collectors or bag buyers. There's the ones that buy and hold, and then there's the ones that buy and sell. So not saying one is better than the other, but I do think the advice can kind of change depending on if you're the buy and hold type or the buy and sell type. So what I mean buy and hold, I mean like bag YouTubers like Kat. I'll list their channels below, but Kat, Maggie, X Chew. In some ways, I think Deb from Wild and Unfiltered was, and so was Amelia. I mean, I think for some of the bigger bag YouTubers, after a while, they'll start doing vlog sales. And so they go from buy and hold to then become buy and sell. So there's a lot of buy and sell people, like Autumn Beckman, Sam from Bargain Hunting Blonde. Oh, and of course, Jessie Styles. So I'm definitely a buy and sell type. I've always been. I love something, and then if I don't use it, I do feel like it's time to pass it on or sell it to someone who is going to use it. Yeah, so I mean, Jessie Styles, I didn't follow her for very long because I just started watching YouTube like 2 years ago, but you can see she refers to her past videos and you see her past collections. She went from Louis Vuitton to Chanel to Hermes. Most of this advice I'm going to put up front can apply to both the buy and hold type and the buy and sell type, but there's a couple more pieces of advice that I would give to the buy and sell type of collector, especially because that's my forte. That's where I fall in that category. But we'll start off with sort of the general advice for anyone who's starting their bag collection in 2026. So first of all, the main point of all of this is buy what you love. I know it doesn't need to be said. I mean, it really is a no duh kind of point here, but you'd be surprised how sometimes you can get swept up in a trend, or you just get swept up in what other people are buying and you kind of forget and you think you love it, but you don't. I think when you start buying bags or collecting bags, you have a gut feeling, like you can't explain it to people. You can't say why you love this bag. You sometimes just love it. It just speaks to you. I've always loved bags. I could never explain it to anyone, least of all my mom, who doesn't understand it at all. But then that feeling, when you have that towards a particular bag, that's the one. You love that bag. You know that you're going to buy it someday, if not today. For me, personally, this is something I got to kind of remember because last year I did buy a couple of Birkins, Hermes Birkin bags, and I don't love it. I kind of bought it because it's sort of like the pinnacle of a bag collection. Are you really a bag collector if never tried a Birkin? Especially if you're in the Hermes collecting space. There's people who love Louis Vuitton, who love Chanel, who will never go into the Hermes space. I mean, I started buying Hermes bags about 3 years ago. Seriously. I started buying seriously. Before that, I dabbled. And then I've just felt like, well, the Birkin is the be-all, end-all. So I bought it, and it's not for me. Anyways, first and foremost, just buy what you love. Okay, second, I would say don't fall into the trap of buying just one brand all the time. I understand, there's something about brand loyalty, but I think especially for like conglomerate brands like LVMH, so what falls under that? Louis Vuitton, Dior, Loewe, Celine. I mean, there's a bunch. I think for those conglomerates especially, do change their designers. They do change the design. And you might have loved a Celine at a certain point. Like I loved Phoebe Philo Celine, but I didn't love Hedi Slimane Celine. And then, you know, once it switched over, I kept looking at Celine bags thinking, you know, well, I love Celine, but it's different, you know. So yes, you can love Celine at certain phases, or, you know, love a brand at certain phases. Like I love Phoebe Philo Celine. I love Jonathan Anderson Loewe. But you have to understand those eras end, and that you don't need to be brand loyal to a certain point. Like again, go back to buy what you love. And so if you don't love a brand anymore, you don't have to force it. I think especially in 2026, point number 3 is pretty big. So I would say buy secondhand. I've always been a big proponent of buying pre-loved or pre-owned items, especially when it comes to handbags. Especially, I think, because bags, they're meant to last. Like the good ones, the luxury ones, the designer ones, they're meant to withstand wear and tear. And so if they are really that good, they should be still pretty good even after a first owner has used them. Granted, of course, it depends on the owner, depends how much they use the bag. But there are a lot of good, excellent quality secondhand bags out there. Granted, I understand that for some people, they don't want to buy secondhand, you know, but I just think if you are looking for something that has a good value, the secondhand market has a lot to offer, especially in 2026. Right now, it is a buyer's market, so there is a lot of people trying to sell their bags right now. You do have your pick, especially now that you can find a lot of good things online. There's a lot of reputable sellers as well. Of course, there are a ton of fakes out there. It is a scary world. If this is only your first, second, or third handbag and you're afraid to get a fake, I totally get it. I will do a, strategies on buying secondhand video soon. I'll let you know what I do to make sure that the bag that I get is authentic. So sure, maybe your first couple of bags you do pay full price, but you do have to be aware that if you end up selling it or want to sell it, you're taking a huge loss. You know, just like when you buy a brand new car, you drive it off the lot, the depreciation is pretty instant. And so that's the same thing when it comes to bags. But, you know, for buy and hold people, this is not a problem. You don't plan to sell it ever, so I get it. Why not buy it brand new and get the luxury boutique experience, or at least the boutique experience, and then, two, you get to fully enjoy the bag from the very beginning. So yes, I do get it. And I think that's how many people start. I guess the main point here is, don't be afraid of the secondhand market, and, do your research, but you will find some very, very good stuff out there. Number 4 is reconsider buying dupes. So I think a lot of times people buy a dupe because their logic is something like, well, if I use this dupe a lot, that means I can go and buy the real thing and I'll use that a lot. But what happens is it's not exactly true. First off, if you really want the bag, I honestly think it's worth saving your money and saving up for the bag. There's a sort of excitement and love that comes with a new bag that you really want. That's not going to be the same as a dupe that you don't really want. In some ways, when you do buy a dupe, you might be wasting your money. If you're being honest, it's not resellable. Even donating it sometimes is a little iffy, depending if it's actually a fake or a dupe. I would say only buy a dupe if you know for sure you're not going to buy the real thing. If you just kind of want to see what it's like, but you don't plan to splurge on buying the real thing, then yeah, sure, the dupe is a good substitute because you're never going to get the real thing. But if you plan to get the real thing, I would say just save your money and go for the real thing. Also, I guess, dupes, they're dupe for a reason. They're not going to be as well made. The material is not going to feel as nice. Maybe even the utility and function won't be the same. So when you do buy a dupe, getting a lesser quality bag, for the most part. Not always. Yeah, if you're going to buy the real thing, just buy the real thing. Advice number 5, I would say always do your research before purchasing, especially if you want to minimize your regrets. And if possible, try to see the bag in person. And when you do see it, don't be afraid to just ask them to try it on and to put all your stuff in. make sure you put all your stuff in, like what you would normally carry, and then go to a mirror and check how the bag looks. Just this past summer, I bought a Loewe Flamenco, the pouch one in the medium size in lambskin. And I tried it on in store, but it had just, the light fluffy stuffing in it. And I didn't put my stuff in it. And then I took it home. First thing I do is put my stuff in it. And I just don't like how it looks, like the way it sags, especially because it is a very soft bag. I have a couple of heavy items, but they're just a couple, so it ended up creating this like dip. And I'm sure you can cinch it up, but I really had envisioned the bag to be more of a rectangular shape. So then I was like, I don't love how it looks with all my stuff in it. So I returned it the next day, but Loewe does not give you a refund. It is store credit only. And now I've been out a couple thousand for over 6 months, and I don't know what to do with it because there's nothing that really is calling to me. So anyways, that is the lesson that I've learned the hard way. So yeah, even if you feel intimidated or shy, in the end, you're there to buy a product, maybe, eventually, but you have to do your research and you just got to put your stuff in and walk around with it. Just like a pair of shoes, right? Like if you try on a pair of shoes, if you want to buy a pair of shoes, you're going to try them on in the store, you're going to walk around in them, and no one blinks an eye. Like that's just what you do. Well, you got to do the same thing when it comes to bags. Number 6, this kind of goes along with what I already mentioned in the first part, but I had said buy what you love and don't follow trends. Well, number 6 is definitely don't follow trends. I get it if the trendy bag is sort of up your alley already. So, right now I love shoulder bags. I'm using a lot of shoulder bags. And so, yes, and they also happen to be trendy, but I do foresee myself using them even after the trend is done. It's not anything unusual. That was sort of just a gap in my wardrobe, and I find them the most comfortable type of bag to carry now. Of course, how much of this is actually trend driven and how much is this actually your own desire, I understand. Like it could seem like the trend's here now, so I'm really into it. Also possible that the trend is here, there's more variety, there's a lot more options to this style of bag, and I just happen to love it. But in general, I did also buy a Gucci Dionysus clutch bag. I didn't even really love it, but it was the hot new it bag, and so I got it, used it a couple times, but ended up selling it. As trends fade, you have to think, oh, am I gonna still wear this when everyone's gonna say like, oh, that's so 2025 or so 2026. If you're not, then, maybe reconsider getting that bag. And also I would say choose bags that fit your lifestyle. So I've definitely bought more than a handful of bags that were well suited to my aspirational lifestyle. Hand carry bags, they're so chic. They're so ladylike. I would love to wear clothes like that and wear a handbag like that. But in all honesty, I'm just not that person. Granted, this is something that's gonna take a little bit of trial and error to figure out. But once you do figure it out, it's best to kind of stay within your actual lifestyle. So, I could have used this advice last year in 2025 when I bought all those Birkins. I should have known. I'm not a hand carry bag person. I don't normally buy hand carry bags, but I felt like maybe it also was a little bit of an aspirational, like I am the bag collector with exquisite taste, and here is my Birkin 30. Like, I don't know. I definitely got up. That one covers a couple of points here. 1, I followed a trend. 2, it was not my lifestyle. And 3, I didn't really love it. And I would recommend for all bag lovers to know how to clean and take care of your bag. If you want a bag to last in your collection, you have to realize that it will take, I would recommend putting some sort of conditioner on your bag, maybe once a year or every other year. Storing your bags, in the dust bag, but not in the box, away from sunlight. Best practices on how to store a certain type of bag so that you minimize creasing and marks in general. So that is something that I'm trying to expand on this channel, showing you how I clean and take care of my bags. So if you're interested, I do have a bag cleaning and repair playlist. You can check that out. Hopefully I'll be adding more. I'll try to be adding them in terms of types of leathers. Different leathers sometimes require different conditioners and different ways to care for them. Another piece of advice, this is mostly for people who buy and sell. I would say don't rebuy what you've already sold. So the fact that you sold it in the first place, Unless it was one of those dire situations where you needed liquid cash fast, then I can understand if you end up rebuying it. But if you just really sold it because it's been sitting on the shelf for so long, you haven't been wearing it, I would say don't rebuy it just for sentimental reasons. I've done it before. So my Louis Vuitton Damier Azur Speedy, I sold it. And then I was like, well, that was my very first type of bag. I'm going to rebuy it. I rebought it in a 25 and I never used it. And so then I sold it again. I've purchased other Speedies and I've sold it. And I just got to realize, one, hand carry only. I mean, now I know they have the bandolier and you have a crossbody or a shoulder strap, but that wasn't always the case. And I would always be rebuying the hand carry ones. So again, know your lifestyle. And then I think also when you rebuy something that you've already sold, you're kind of chasing that magic or some sort of feeling or maybe a memory. But you got to realize like it's gone. It's like a substitute won't really bring it back, whatever that feeling was, There will always be new bags that you make new memories with that will create some sort of spark in you. And so don't be looking in the past and trying to chase what you had. Just appreciate what you have now. Along those same lines, I say this is, again, mostly for people who buy and sell, but do not buy bags as some sort of commemorative item. Like, I get it if you're a buy and hold type, totally, you'll forever have that bag. You'll forever have that special occasion in your mind. But I think if you're the buy and sell type, one, when you buy it for like a commemorative item or, as a reward for something, you tie this extra kind of meaning and value to that bag so that, one, you won't be able to sell it as easily if you do need to sell it or want to sell it because you're not using it. And two, once you do sell it, or if you get the feeling that you want to sell it, you feel like it lessens that moment, lessens that reward, and that's not how you want to remember. I mean, in general, I don't buy too many commemorative items, but if I do, they're usually pretty affordable, or if I'm going to go high-end, buy a piece of jewelry, they're much easier to store. It does have some value in case you need to flee the country or something. They're much easier to carry. So, and last but not least, you are going to make mistakes. You're going to buy things and regret them. You're going to sell things and regret them if you're the buy and sell type. And that's okay. It's a journey. I think the main part is if you're still loving it, you're still having fun with it, and you're being financially responsible, do what you love, buy what you love, appreciate what you have. You're going to make mistakes, but that's also just how you learn about your taste. And, if you buy secondhand, then the mistakes are usually a little bit cheaper. If you sell quick, also, like if you buy something trendy and you sell it quick, the loss is not as much. So, I mean, again, this is for the buy and sell types. I like that Gucci Dionysus little clutch bag that I had, crossbody. I bought it, I regretted it, I sold it. And I'm sure I took a loss, but it wasn't massive. Versus if I were to try to sell that Gucci Dionysus clutch today, I would get pennies for what I bought it for. So if you make a mistake and you know it's a mistake, just realize it and it's okay to sell it. But yeah, I will probably follow this up with my buying secondhand strategies. How do I know something's authentic? And after that, I am thinking of talking about how I sell my handbags, especially for the buy and sell types, what avenues that I like to go through. But yeah, if you found this video useful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Other than that, please also share what some of your advice might be for some newbie bag collectors. I kind of thought of this because I just started watch collecting, and there are some videos out there for the novice watch collector, and I just thought I would put my own spin on this for the newbie bag collector. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!